Okay. And so today's music, if you're hearing it, is Sona Jabarta. She plays the kora, um, the West African music. And if you're interested in her playlist, I can link that in Spotify for the end of class. So find yourself in a comfortable seat. Wherever you land is absolutely fine. You could be sitting in a chair to start, or if you're comfortable on the floor, go ahead and find yourself arriving into your practice. And as it feels necessary, make any of those little wiggles that help you get grounded into your seat. Maybe that's even pulling the flesh away from the sits bones to help the sits bones feel nice and solid underneath you, letting your hands rest somewhere in your lap, guiding the eyes closed, or simply softening the gaze here, letting the eyelids get heavy. Take a big, deep breath through the nose and exhale out through an open mouth. Feeling free here to make a sound or a sigh as you continue to do 3 more of these breaths. And each breath in and each breath out is a gradual awakening and settling into your practice. Starting now to grow the breath in the belly, feeling the belly inflate like a balloon. You can even put your hands on the belly to feel it expand. And exhaling, letting the belly deflate, the navel draws in toward the spine. And continuing here in our 3-part Dirga breath, so letting that breath build in the belly and then move up into the ribs, feeling the ribs expand. And on the exhale, the ribs hug in, the belly deflates. And drawing the breath in again from the belly, letting it move up into the ribs, and finally building that breath, expanding it into the chest. And perhaps here the shoulder blades spread across the back as the breath expands into the upper torso. Exhaling all the way from the top down. And finding your rhythm here. Moving at your own pace. And letting each of these breaths build your inner experience a little more deeply. Letting each inhale guide you in further sensing what's happening in your body this morning. And if you're anything like me this morning and this hot weather has resulted in you doing lots of yard work, lots of mowing, maybe gardening, some of your joints may be a little achy this morning. Just notice what comes up here. And as you're breathing and sensing, your awareness is being tuned to what's happening inside your body. And part of what may be happening inside your body is feeling thoughts flow in and out of your awareness. If you notice any judgment or anything that may be shaping your experience, just take a mental note of what's happening. And as you're guided through your practice this morning, your various movements, postures, warm-ups, breathing techniques, this might be an opportunity to invite yourself to simply allow things to happen without trying to change or force. So if you feel your body calling to do something different, to sit a posture out, to stay in a posture longer, then let yourself do that. With your next exhale, release your Dirga breath, your 3-part breath. Return to your natural breathing. Inhale, letting the arms float up out to the sides and overhead as much as the shoulders will allow here. Exhale, turn the palms away. Let the hands float all the way back down. In today's class, we're going to be taking care of some of those joints, some of those body parts that tend to get a little used, overly used maybe throughout the week. So building some ease and some stretching in the neck, the shoulders, the back, the hips, the hamstrings. Continue to let your arms float up overhead and exhaling sun breaths. The next time the hands are up overhead, gently interlace the fingers, turn the palms away. Big stretch here, nice and tall, growing some height in the ribs, lifting the ribs away from the pelvis, maybe gazing upward. And exhale, release the hands. Let the hands float into the lap. And now on your next inhale, pulling the chest forward, creating a gentle arch in the low back, lifting the chin ever so slightly to gaze up at that spot, maybe where the ceiling and the wall meet. Exhaling, pushing into the hands if that feels supportive, pressing the upper back away from you as the head dips toward the chest. And inhaling, chest comes forward. And exhaling, upper back scoops outward, chin to chest. And if it's feeling good for you this morning, letting this movement start to evolve into twirling the torso in one direction. So just circling the torso, letting the shoulders move and shift with the torso. And you can even start to bring the neck into this movement as you slowly circle the head, stretching the neck. Finding a comfortable place to reverse directions. And remembering your breath here. It's a great place to let the eyes close and you melt into the rhythm of your movement, of your breath, and always continuing to sense what it is that the body is communicating. Let the next breath or two bring this movement to stillness. And the arms come up again overhead one more time. Inhaling, arms floating up. Exhaling, arms float down, but start to cross them in front of the chest, one arm on top of the other. Hands touch opposite shoulders. Feel free to stay right here, hands gripping opposite shoulders, and gently start to twist the ribs from side to side. Small movements here. Now, if your arms allow for it, you can wrap into eagle arms by crossing the forearms. So letting the elbows continue to be one on top of the other and starting to cross the forearms. Palms can come to touch. This will deeply stretch the back of the shoulders. If this is too much, keep your hands on top of the opposite shoulders. And if you're in eagle arms or hands on top of the shoulders, start to inhale and lift the elbows. Exhale, dip the elbows toward the belly. So inhaling, elbows lift toward the sky or perhaps closer to your chin. Exhale, elbows tuck in toward the belly. And small movements here will do wonders. Take one more. Bring yourself back to neutral. Let the hands uncross. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, we're going to cross the arms in the opposite direction this time. Hands touch opposite shoulders. Gently, micro movement, twisting the ribs from side to side. And feel free here to move into eagle arms once more and gently lift the elbows on an inhale and exhale, tuck the elbows in toward the belly. Or staying with hands touching opposite shoulders, elbows lift and exhale, elbows tuck. One more here. Inhaling back to neutral. Unwind the arms, shake them out. And when you're ready, we'll transition onto our back. Let yourself roll all the way down onto your back. Start to point and flex the toes. And inhale, arms come up overhead, wiggling the fingertips, stretching toes and fingertips in opposite directions. Big stretch here. And exhale, start to hug the knees in toward the chest. Knees could be together or separated nice and wide. Allow yourself to come into a rock along the spine. And the next time the knees start to rock over to the left, let them go all the way to the floor, using the left hand on top of the right knee to guide your knees down toward the floor. And if meeting the floor with your knees is too much of a twist, go ahead and shove a block, a blanket, a pillow under the knees. Let the right arm extend out to the side, letting that right shoulder stick itself to the floor. Turn the gaze to look over to the right fingertip. Breathe right here. In and out. And with your next inhale, guiding the knees gently back to center, moving through center and letting the knees fall on an exhale toward the right. Right hand on top of left knee, gently guides the knees down to the floor. Left arm extends out to the side in a T. Letting your gaze start to look over to those left fingertips. A couple nice deep breaths here. And inhale back to center, hugging the knees in toward the chest. Exhale, extend the right leg. The left knee hugs in toward the chest, wind relieving pose. And with your left hand on the left knee, start to take that left knee open toward the left side. So stretching the hip as much as feels good. And if at any time during the practice you feel something sharp, come out of the posture. So in our practices, we like to find our edge. And so there's allowing yourself to ride the edge of what you can do without pushing through the pain. So pain is not good. We're not wanting pain. And inhale that left knee back to center. Hug both knees back in together. Exhale, left leg extends long, right knee hugs into the chest for one breath in, wind relieving pose. Exhale, start to guide that right knee open toward the right. And if you'll see, my knee is hovering in the air. My hip does not open to the point where my knee wants to touch the floor, and that's absolutely fine. If you need stability under the knee, this is a great place for the block. Or you can let the knee hover. One more breath in here. And out. Inhale, hug both knees into the chest one more time. Exhale, set the feet close to the sits bones, so toes, ball of the foot, heel, everything's going to touch the floor here, grounding the feet into the earth, letting the arms rest alongside you. Inhale, press through the feet, press through the arms, gently lift the hips. So here we're going to do bridge pulse, but only a little bit, as the lower back needs to warm up a little bit more. So inhaling about 50% of what your full bridge would look like, and exhaling back to the floor, letting the spine settle in, feel the low back press into the floor on each exhale. Inhale, lift the hips again, pressing through the feet. And exhale, coming all the way back down. little pulses here. And you might notice that your body is craving more of a stretch. And so if during your pulses you want to lift higher and higher, go ahead. Find that place where your body wants to be. If at any point in time you want to hold your bridge for a few breaths, allow yourself to come in to that more static posture or keep pulsing with each breath. Next, exhale, let everything roll back down. Knock the knees together, step the feet wide, and start to shift the knees from left to right. Taking another breath or two to bring this movement to stillness, and feet step back toward the sits bones, hip width apart. Coming into a supine pigeon pose, take the right leg, inhaling the right leg. That right foot is going to come rest on the left thigh. And keeping the right foot nice and engaged, so you want the toes dorsiflexed, so the toes are flexed toward the face. And right hand can gently press on the right thigh to press the thigh outward. Again, this is a gentle stretch to the hip. And if you'd like to take this deeper, inhale, loop the hands around the left thigh and gently pull back on that left thigh. Left thigh moves toward the chest as the shoulders melt toward the floor. You can also extend the left leg straight. And here is the other name for this pose, figure four. You can really see it here with the left leg extended out straight. But find your version of pigeon or figure four for 1 to 2 more deep breaths. Exhale, release. Let the right foot unwind, settle back in toward the floor. Feel free to shake anything out. And then we'll inhale, switching to the other side. Inhaling, left foot comes to rest on the right thigh. Left foot is flexed and engaged. Left hand can press gently on the left thigh, pressing it outward, stretching the hip. And feel free again to come into any version of pigeon that works for you. Few more breaths right here. Inhale, unwind everything, stretch the legs out long. Arms come up overhead. Big stretch again right here. Wake up, good morning stretch. And exhale, roll all the way over to your belly. However you get there is fine. And from the belly, let your forehead, nose, mouth, or chin rest on the earth. Extend the arms out in front of you, palms face up. Rest here. 2 breaths. Exhale, let the hands come slide underneath the shoulders. And what we're going to do is take the hands and rotate them in. So the fingertips are going to be facing each other, elbows out nice and wide as we prepare for iguana pose. And with the elbows out nice and wide, take a deep breath in, press in through the feet, the thighs, the pelvis. Lift the head, lift the chest as much as feels good, using mostly your core strength here. And here we'll just lower back down on the exhale. Take a couple of these pulses. Inhaling to come up, making sure to press through the lower body. And exhale, rolling the torso back down. Engaging the breath here. This is a great place to deepen the breath. Feel your belly inflating as the breath moves from belly, ribs, chest, and exhaling all the way down. And this time when you lift in iguana on the inhale, start to bend the right or the left leg, 90-degree angle. So you have a little lizard leg behind you. And you can exhale, gaze over the left shoulder to look at that bent left leg. Hold here, 2 breaths. Exhale, lower down. Tuck that lizard leg back in as we come up again on the inhale. Bend the right leg now, 90-degree angle, lizard leg on the right side. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. 2 breaths. Exhale, lower all the way down. Make a little pillow for your forehead by stacking the forearms on top of one another. Forehead rests down on top of the forearms. Inhale, feet come up into the air. Just bend the knees here about 90 degrees and start to swish the feet from side to side. Taking one more breath to bring this movement back to center and exhaling, lower the feet. Inhale, let the arms come underneath the shoulders, curl the toes under. We're going to press into table. So coming up onto hands and knees. Let the knees settle underneath the hips, the hands settling underneath the shoulders, strong arms here. Inhale, lift the tailbone toward the sky, drop the belly, let the gaze come forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, the upper back reaches to the sky, chin comes to chest. So continuing here in our cat-cow at your own pace with your breath, your rhythm. And you can allow this movement to start to organically evolve into a little bit of a dance if you like to twirl the torso or move the hips from side to side, maybe snaking as if you are slithering forward on the floor, letting the spine move in all directions. And exhale, let the hands start to walk toward the knees and sitting on the heels or putting a cushion or a block between the legs to sit on that. Here is where you may want to use the strap as we come into Yoga Mudra. And if you have a long strap like mine, you may want to unfold it and just fold it in half. If you have something like a tie or a bathrobe belt, sometimes those are short enough to just use the full length. But mine is 6 feet long, so I fold it in half. And here, you may also want a block or a pillow to come down onto the floor in front of you at any height is absolutely fine, by the way. So with the strap in one hand, let the arms come down to the sides. We're just going to breathe here and settle into this posture for one deep breath, inhaling through the nose. Exhale through an open mouth. Inhale, arms come up out to the front of you. Turn the palms away. And exhale, start to move the hands behind the back. Flick the strap into the opposite hand if you're using a strap. Wider apart, the more wide apart on the strap your hands are, the easier this will be on your shoulders. This is particularly great for anyone who has some shoulder sensitivity. The closer your hands are together on the strap, the more stretch will be happening in the shoulders. So find that width on your strap that feels good for your hands and your shoulders. Inhale, press the chest upward toward the sky, so opening the heart here, and the hands really root toward the floor. As you exhale, start to hinge forward at the hips, letting the arms float up behind you. And exhale, let the forehead come to rest on the floor or on the block or whatever you may be using as a support. Being careful here not to lock the elbows out as the hands float up. So keep a soft bend in the elbows. Breathe here 2 breaths. Inhale, start to roll upward, unleashing the hands from the strap. And again, bringing shoulders or hands across the chest to touch opposite shoulders. Give yourself a little bit of a hug here, a little rock. And shake the arms out. Inhale, take the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, release the shoulders. We'll start a couple shoulder rolls, inhaling shoulders to ears. Exhale, shoulders fall down and back. Inhaling up, exhaling down, and now reversing direction. So inhaling the shoulders back and up. And exhaling forward and down. Let the shoulders settle down away from the ears now, taking one hand and gently placing it on the crown of the head and dipping the chin toward the chest. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Moving back and forth between the breath, inhaling the head to center. Exhale, let it dip to the chest. Inhaling to center, right ear, right shoulder. Center and exhale, left ear, left shoulder. And the next time your head is up center, leave it there. Let yourself come down onto your sits bones with legs out in front of you. So if you're sitting on a prop, you may want to move it off to the side. Legs come out in front of you right here. Feet a little wider than hip distance apart, knees bent. And so I'll turn to the side so you can see a little bit better. Here, let the hands come underneath the thighs. Inhale, press the chest forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, scoop the belly, press the back outward. Chin can come to chest. Inhaling, chest forward. Gaze lifts very slightly as you lengthen the spine. And exhale, pressing outward with the back. And take one more to the front and one more to the back. And inhale yourself back to neutral. From here, you're going to let the knees fall open as much as they wish while pressing or pulling the soles of the feet toward one another. So for a deeper stretch in the hips, the feet are really close to the pelvis. For a gentler stretch in the hips, the feet are longer and further away from your torso. Soles can touch and be glued together, or they can be separate, but let the knees fall wide here. And if you need supports underneath the knees, go ahead and place a couple of blocks or your stack of books under there. Let the hands come to rest on the thighs or just below the knee or on the ankles. From here, inhale, lengthen the spine once more, lifting in the ribs, lifting the crown of the head. So feel the spine grow really long. Exhale, start to fold forward. And here it is absolutely okay to let the upper back bow and round as you dip forward in the space between your legs. So I call this the cobbler hang or the bound ankle hang. And allow yourself to just come forward as much as your body wants to or will allow. And here, some organic movement may feel really nice. Feel free to shift from one sits bone to the other, rocking the hips from side to side. Letting yourself come deeply into this space, finding your edge. This is an amazing stretch for the upper back, the shoulders, the neck, the hips. This is sort of a package deal pose. If you ever are feeling super achy in these primary joints and need a release. And the best part about this pose, continue to breathe here. The best part about this pose is that you can do this if you're sitting in an office chair. You can just let your legs go wide and start to fold over in your office chair. This is something I often do on my lunch break at work. Two more breaths here. This is one of those postures that deserves a little bit of extra time and space to work in because the body kind of continues to sink in. Inhale, roll up. One vertebrae at a time. The head will come up last. Taking the hands underneath the knees, letting them come back together. Sweep the feet to the side. We're going to land in table once more. In table, once you find yourself there, extend the left leg long. Let the ball or toe of the foot rest on the earth. Engage the abs for that concentric support of the spine. And start to move and shift back and forth on the ball of that left foot, stretching the calves, stretching the hamstring. And inhale, left foot comes all the way through table and back up to the front of your mat. Guide it with your hands if you need to let that left foot come rest right between the hands. Press the hips forward and inhale, let the hands come to the top of that left thigh. We're going to stay right here for 2 breaths as you press the hips forward, feeling that stretch. You'll probably really feel it in the front of the right thigh. And again, if any of this ends up feeling like it's too much, use supports, use a modification, sit this one out. Inhale and exhale, release the hands back to the floor. Take that left leg, placing it back in table, and inhale, extend the right hand, the right foot. Ball of the foot lands on the earth and shifting back and forth, stretching the calf. So all about taking care of our bodies this morning, finding what feels good, finding what is maybe needed, and it may not feel great, but continuing to listen in and figure out what it is your body needs. And inhaling, right leg comes through table to the top of the mat between the hands. Pressing the hips forward, right knee stacks over the right ankle. So that may mean scooching the left knee backward just a tad. Inhale, hands come to the top of the right thigh. Continue to press the hips forward. Breathe here. 2 full deep breaths. Exhale, release the hand. Send that foot back to table. So from here, we have a couple options. We're going to meet standing. So if you'd like to get there by coming into a squat and lifting up, you can do that. I'm going to guide us through downward facing dog. Or you can bring the feet to the top of the mat and come into a forward fold and then lift from there. So yogi's choice on how to get to standing safely from table. And I'll guide us through downward facing dog. Curl the toes under, let the hands come out just in front of the shoulders. Fingertips spread nice and wide. Rotate the elbows in toward the upper thighs. Inhale, lift the knees. Exhale, send the hips to the sky. Long spine here as the head dips between the biceps. And if you're hanging out with me in downward dog for a few breaths, find any movement that feels right for you. Pedal the feet. Shift the weight from heels to toes. Stretching the hamstrings deeply here in this posture. And inhale, walk the hands toward the feet. Or walk the feet toward the hands rather. Coming into a bent knee forward fold. Let the torso rest right on top of the thighs as if they were glued together. Knees deeply bent, hands holding the ankles, the toes, or resting on the floor, head hangs. Press through the feet, inhale, let the arms float out to the sides as you stand upward, arms overhead. Exhale, hands come all the way to the sides. Coming into your mountain pose. We're going to be here in mountain pose for a few breaths. So step the feet hip width apart, finding stability in the feet and looking down. Feet, knees, hips, all in one nice long line. One hand on the belly, one hand on the small of the back. Start to tilt the pelvis forward and backward until you find length in both the front and the back of the body. So for me, that means pressing the pelvis forward slightly. In my body, you may be a little bit different. Once you find that length, releasing the hands to the sides, palms faced out in front of you. Shoulders come away from the ears. Finding length in the neck, reaching the crown of the head toward the sky. Close the eyes here. Our foundational pose of yoga, mountain pose. Imagine you're holding a block between your thighs, so engaging the leg muscles, engaging the core, breathing here. Inhale, hands come up into the air in a V. Let them move through that V, pressing palms together. Exhale, hands come down the midline of the body, resting at heart center. And here in our mountain pose, we're going to take this right into chair with hands here at heart center. Start to sit the hips back on an exhale. Nice long spine. Find a place where the thighs are engaged and working. The upper back is long, but it's not pinched. So if you feel any pinching in the lower back, just gently tuck the tailbone under. That'll lengthen that low back. Gazing forward here in chair. And feel free to take it here from side to side by just twisting the ribs open one side and then the other. Breathing in to come through center and exhaling from side to side if you're doing this twist option. With your next inhale, if you're twisting, come to center for one more breath. Stay here, inhaling deeply. Exhale, release the hands, fold over. Coming to touch the hands to the earth, knees deeply bent. Step one foot back and then the other. Rest the knees on the mat. Put the big toes together. And either have the knees together or separate. Press the hips all the way back into child's pose. Arms can be loosely out in front of you or resting alongside you or anywhere that feels good. Rest the head down on the earth or on a pillow or on top of your hands. Breathe right here. And here, grounding the forehead into the earth, an act of touching the third eye to the stabilizing energy of what comes underneath. Let your eyes close. And this here is a place, if you maybe got caught up in the movements and the postures, this is the place to return to for checking in to see what you need. A place where you connect with your intuition. And from here, take a couple of breaths to do any organic movement that feels good, that punctuates the end of the movement portion of your practice before transitioning into Shavasana. And when you feel settled, when you feel ready, diving into a posture that will feel relaxing and supportive. You may be sitting, laying down on the back or on the belly or on your side, sitting in a chair. But when you land in the place where you can find rest, let your eyes close, let yourself get comfortable. Relax the jaw. And allow your breathing to come more and more easily as you slip back into the natural rhythm of your relaxed breath. Finding ease in the chest, softening in the belly, and wherever your body is making contact with a supportive surface, allow yourself to melt and let go of any tension there. Slowly start to deepen your breath, taking the next few inhales to bring yourself back to the room, back to sensing in your body, and back to the present moment of your mind right here, right now. Allowing yourself any wiggles or stretches, maybe moving the fingers and the toes, rocking the head from side to side. And inviting the next few breaths to bring yourself back up to a comfortable seated position if you were laying down. Once you find yourself in your seated position, bringing one hand over the other at heart center or taking hands in prayer position. Sanskrit for or Anjali Mudra is the Sanskrit for hands in prayer position at the heart center. Close the eyes here and taking a bow to yourself, thanking the body for showing up, the mind for being present, and the heart for being open. And a second bow to each other, this space, and the community in which we share this beautiful practice of yoga. It was amazing to be able to lead you once again on this Sunday morning for our yoga practice. And if you would like the class recording, just shoot me an email or a text or a Facebook message, and I will send that link along to you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday and stay cool.